let's make some fried green tomatoes. And this makes a great appetizer, or you can also just use it as a side dish. I'm going to grab a couple of other things from my garden, like some hot chili peppers and a couple of sprigs of rosemary. Here are the ingredients if you would like to jot them down. You can also do a screenshot so that you can take this to the grocery store with you, or they'll be below the video if you'd like to print them out. So I like to slice my green tomatoes pretty thin. I find that they cook better when they're thinly sliced. Not too thin, but usually less than half an inch, maybe closer to that quarter of an inch. And we'll just give them a good slice. Now this is a beefsteak tomato. These fry up wonderfully. They're nice and soft on the inside and really crispy on the outside, and that's how I like to make my fried green tomatoes. So let's go ahead and spread them out on a single layer on a plate, and we're going to salt them very generously on both sides. So just let those sit aside for about 15 to 30 minutes, then we'll get everything else ready. I'm going to go ahead and smash some garlic. I like to cut off the root end of the cloves of garlic, and then I'm going to smash them and peel them. And then this hot chili pepper here, I am just going to slice it and lengthwise in half. And the seeds are kind of hot at this point because this is a mature pepper. Most of the heat when your peppers are not mature are in the membrane, which holds the seeds. But once it's mature, that heat does get into the seeds as well. I do want some heat in here, but this is a hot chili pepper. So now let's head out. I'm going to use a little bit of cooking oil. I'm going to shallow fry the green tomatoes. So I just want to put a little bit of oil in this non-stick skillet. I find that it fries things very well. And I'll go ahead and add my garlic and my rosemary sprigs and my chili membrane side down so that some of that heat can infuse the oil. Okay, that's all I want to do here. I don't want to get the oil up too high of a temperature because my rosemary will burn. So I do have to kind of watch the rosemary. The peppers and the garlic should be fine. This is about on, I guess, medium heat, and so I want to just kind of remove the rosemary and dip it back in there just to make sure it's not too hot for the rosemary to burn. So I guess I'll let the peppers and the garlic simmer like this for about 4 to 5 minutes. And then I turned off the temperature on the stove, so there was no heat, and I let the oil come back down in temperature, and then I returned the sprigs to the oil. Because those rosemary sprigs can fry up really quick, and we just wanted to kind of infuse the oil, so I returned them to the oil when the oil wasn't too hot, and then I went back inside and I continued to work on my green tomatoes. Make sure that your peppers stay membrane side down, that flesh side, because that way it will infuse the oil better. Okay, so now I'm going to prepare the batter, and I'm just going to use egg whites. I don't want the egg yolk. I'll use that in some mayonnaise later. But I have found that using egg whites with just a splash of water or maybe some skim milk, you know, no fat in there whatsoever, I found that it gives me a really nice crispy texture on the outside of anything that I fry. So this is how I like to fry foods. I just use egg white with a little splash of liquid, and you want to beat it until it's nice and frothy. Okay, now my cornmeal, I'm using a very fine cornmeal. I found this, I think, in the Latin section in the grocery store, but I don't like the thick cornmeal because it just is too gritty for me, but you know, you can certainly use it. And then I added some breadcrumbs. I had 2 different kinds here. I'm cooking at the river, so I'm using the unseasoned, and then I'm using some all-purpose flour as well, along with a good pinch of salt. So here are the tomatoes. A lot of water has come out of them. So I went ahead and I rinsed them off at the sink and got all the salt off, and now I'm just going to pat each one of them dry and put them on a plate with a few more paper towels underneath. So now we can go ahead and get them ready for frying. I'm putting them in the egg white mixture, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put them in the flour mixture. You may prefer to dip them in a bowl of flour first, then put them in the cornmeal and breadcrumb mixture, and that's fine. But I've found this works fine for me, and it's less cleanup. You know, when you fry something, it just seems like there's so many dishes get messed up. So I'm just going to do it this way. This works out great. Press the flour mixture onto the green tomatoes and into the egg white. Okay, press it in pretty good, and then set them aside, and then go ahead and then grab the one that you did first and then dip it back again. We're going to double dip these. Okay, I didn't put them back in the egg white mixture though. There's plenty on there. It'll be way too thick if I dipped them again in the egg white and then again in the flour. I just like it nice and thin and crispy. I found that using egg yolks and anything with fat in it, and then putting a lot of flour on it first, then putting the breadcrumb mixture and cornmeal on the outside, it just is too thick for me. But I just like it nice and thin and crispy. So this is how I like to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and salt them again. So let's go ahead and see if our oil is ready. I'm going to go ahead and bring the oil back up to temperature. And when it looks like the rosemary might start to turn color and burn a little bit, I'll go ahead and remove it. And now I'm just going to swirl around the garlic and the peppers for about another 2 or 3 minutes. And my oil should be nice and have a lot of flavor, and so do these peppers and the garlic cloves. So we want to make sure we save those. I threw away the rosemary, but I want to save the garlic and the peppers. And if your oil has any maybe loose pepper seeds in it or rosemary leaves, you'll want to go ahead and strain it out and make sure it's nice and clear, and then wipe out your pan. And now we can go ahead and start to fry once you bring your oil back up to temperature again. And I don't really test my oil temperature. I just kind of shallow fry things when I fry anything. And I like to fry just a couple of things first, just a tiny bit, just to kind of get the the oil in a nice temperature for frying. Go ahead and kind of drain them off at first. So I just did a couple. I'm going to go ahead and put these on paper towels to drain. You can also put those on a wire rack lined with paper towels. And so now I'll go ahead and do a full batch of the tomatoes. These do not take very long to cook. I know I didn't even tell you how long I cooked the first 2, but I think that they cook about 3 minutes on each side. And because we salted them, they are going to be much softer on the inside if we did not salt them, and plus we didn't cut them too thick. So they'll be nice and soft on the inside, and then nice and crispy on the outside. And I'll just kind of salt them as I go. I'm going to go ahead and give them a little bit more salt. And when you feel like they're at the color that you want, you can go ahead and remove them to the paper towels. Go ahead and try to let some of that oil drip off of them before you put them on your paper towels. And then I also like to give them a little turn once they're on my paper towels so that I can kind of blot off any excess oil. Now just another little sprinkle of salt on there, and they are nice and crispy and just wonderful. And now you can pick out your favorite hot sauce. Oh, so good. I hope you guys are making your own hot sauce. I'll leave a link up here for you if you are interested in growing peppers and making your own hot sauces. And then I'm going to return the garlic and the chili pepper back to the tomatoes, where I will cut those and eat them with the green tomatoes. So it was just so wonderful. I hope that you guys can give this a try. If you like the video, please let me know by heading down there and giving me a big thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already, head on over to my channel. Over there, I have a playlist section. And in my playlist section, I have organized a lot of different recipes by vegetables and herbs, so that if you have something in your garden, you're ready to cook it up, or maybe it's just in your refrigerator and you need to cook it, well, there are some ideas for you. So thanks so much for watching, and y'all have a beautiful day.